What is this hype about Chat GPT and generative AI in general?
AI is not a new thing, right? AI has been there for almost 2-3 decades. Where Chat GPT makes a difference is that the AI models that are deployed so far, they are called single taskers. They are very good at doing one thing. Face detection model will do only one single thing, which is face detection. Where Chat GPT excels is that it's a multitasker. When I say multitasker, it is very well capable of doing thousands of different tasks. So prompt engineering is kind of a new programming. Why prompt engineering is important is that these AI models, or if you take Chat GPT for example, all these GPT models, they are nothing but next token prediction models. In order to write an effective prompt, right, the technique that I use is called RRR. It's not the movie RRR. I'm just bringing that concept so that you can relate and remember this. So role, rule, and response. Prompt engineering is not limited to tech guys, right? Anybody who is interested to use AI in their their day-to-day job or in their working, they can start learning prompt engineering.
Will we be replaced? Will as humans be replaced in the tech industry in future? And if yes, to what extent? What is your view on this as someone who has worked so deeply on this and understood so deeply?
Okay, I'll give a very honest answer here. Actually, I lost my sleep for 3 continuous days when I saw ChatGPT generating code.
Hello everyone. This is a session on prompt engineering, and this session will probably after the session we'll be able to take away from this session that how to write better prompts for things like Chat GPT or Midjourney or stuff like that, so that we are able to understand the limitations and make the best use of these technologies, which are ever growing, ever evolving for now. So, like I said, welcome everyone to this session on Fireside Chat with Raju Kandaswamy on prompt engineering. Raju is an engineering director at ThoughtWorks and he's an entrepreneur, which I'll discuss with you, which I'll inform all of you at the end of the slides. Before I move ahead, huge shout out to our sponsors, annual sponsor BrowserStack, our premier sponsor for all our conferences, and our exclusive sponsor for all our events. It's due to uh, it's due to teams like BrowserStack that we are able to do all of this event at this scale without any cost involved to our attendees. Now, let me give you a brief introduction about Raju also. While I was discussing his journey backstage, Raj is a hardcore tech guy who is a mechanical engineer by education, but has moved careers from mechanical to IT to mechanical. He loves to he ran a startup on robotics for 5 years out of Coimbatore. He now leads the XR practice at ThoughtWorks, and to his credit, he has built something similar to Vision Pro, which we recently launched from Apple, saw launch from Apple a few months back already with a tech with a similar tech and already for some of his clients. He's a great tech guy, and I genuinely recommend all of you to connect with him even after this session on prompt engineering ends. With that, let me just call Raju on stage. Please give a virtual applause and welcome Raju on stage. Hi, Raju.
Hey folks,
Uh,
first of all, thanks for this opportunity, Ashu. Um, and yeah, we can get started.
cool. Raju, I'll hit the nail directly on the head, right? First of all, uh, what is this hype about Chat GPT and generative AI in general? We're seeing courses coming out, workshops coming out. We're seeing everybody talking about all this. Right? What's the hype about Chat GPT in your understanding, and in general generative AI, which includes Midjourney and a bunch of other tools?
Okay, so the hype about ChatGPT is not a new thing. OpenAI has started working on this years back, and they started this as an open source movement where they wanted to make AI accessible for the wider audience, and they started building models which are called GPT. And they kind of released GPT and GPT-2. They are all available in open source domain. Then something interesting started happening. Um, there was a GPT-3 model, which they found is super interesting, and then they kind of chose to close source it. They were open until GPT-2, and then GPT-3 was closed sourced, and then they did the 3.5 with Microsoft. Then the history, right? They released GPT 3.5 for wider audience, and the usefulness came from the GPT 3.5 architecture and the training. Uh, there is there is a statistic saying that the GPT 3.5 model is a 175 billion parameter model.
My
So those
goodness.
who don't know, were new to this segment, right? You might start, getting these buzzwords, right? This billion parameter model, trillion tokens trained, and all, right? So these are all very simple constructs. Let me just demystify some of them for you. Uh, the parameter, or they are talking about the size of the model. Okay, when they say 175 billion parameters, let's take a small example, right? You write an f of x, right? Let's say z equal to a plus b plus c, right? So here, what I'm talking about is a three parameter model, a plus b plus c, where a, b, c are three parameters, and plus is an operator, right? So the Chat GPT, or all the large language models, right? You can assume them as this f of x. It's a big function. With when they say 175 billion parameters, they have 175 billion parameters sitting in that f of x to model the problem space and provide you the solution. Where ChatGPT got interesting is that it started showing knowledge and reasoning, right? Earlier, the AI is not a new thing, right? AI has been there for almost 2-3 decades, right? AI has been adopted by the industry as well in image detection, face detection, fraud
That's true.
detection, right? Financial,
Prediction, yeah.
retail. In every segment, AI is already there. It's not nothing new. But where ChatGPT makes a difference is that the AI models that are deployed so far, they are called single taskers. They are very good at doing one thing. Face detection model will do only one single thing, which is face detection. They will not do anything beyond that. Fraud detection AI model will do a fraud detection, right? Where ChatGPT excels is that it's a multitasker. When I say multitasker, it is very well capable of doing thousands of different tasks. You just need to ask it what is the task it need to do. It will be able to perform. That's where the hype started. People started one single AI doing multiple wide variety of tasks is something close to human experience, right? Human form of intelligence. So that's where the hype started, and we are discussing this today.
Thank you, Raj. I think it's a good answer, and I think it will bring people to a level where they understand that it's not just a new thing. It's been there for years. It's just that it just got a lot of limelight now because they've made more commercialized. They've made more paid plans, and people have understood its power right now. Great. Now a little deeper. Okay, uh, what's prompt engineering, and why is it important in natural language processing in general?
Yeah. So prompt engineering is kind of a new programming, right? Prompt engineering is the new programming. So any computing system, right? It needs a form of input, right? If we take traditional computing systems, we used to key in commands, right, to get things done from the computer, right? So to get few the things done by large language models, we need to provide them input, right? So these large language models actually come in two major categories, right? I'm overgeneralizing it. If we deep down, if we drill down, there are multiple segregations possible, but on an abstract level, there are two major categories. Okay, the category one is called text to text generation models, where chat gpt comes in. There is
Got it.
another segment called text to image. That's where the mid journey kind of models come in. So here, the text that is fed into the AI model is the input that we give to the model, and yeah, and based on the input that we are giving, the AI model gives a response, right? And there is a certain understanding need to be there why we do prompting, or why prompt engineering is important, is that these AI models, or if we take chat gpt for example, all these gpt models, they are nothing but next token prediction models. Okay, I'll bring this concept of token. Token is nothing but, you can assume a token like a word, okay, or a sub word. If you take the test tribe, right? D is one token. Test may be split into TE and ST, okay, subwords. So that's how we the GPT understands the language, right? And when you give an incomplete sentence, right? We are doing a test tribe conference today at, I'll stop that and I'll ask the AI to continue. It will try to, given the sequence of words, it will try to predict the next possible token. Okay, that is what the AI model is trained on. Now, using this capability, actually, we are tricking the AI model to complete a task by giving a prompt. So, this prompt engineering actually started from the days of GPT-2. Okay, GPT-2 is also a next token prediction model. Where things got interesting is that you can train GPT-2 model on a corpus data. Let's say I have trained the GPT model on Indian leaders, okay, political leaders, historical political leaders. All the essays, I collected them and fed it to GPT-2 model. And if I start with the statements saying, Gandhi started Dandi March in, right? Then it will try to predict the next token based on the learning it had. Okay,
Got it.
so this is the simple training versus and the next token prediction capability. Where things got interesting is that there was something called a few shot prompting. Few shot prompting is a method wherein you give examples, like you give one question and you give a correct answer, provide a next question and provide next answer. Then third question, you just leave the question and leave it for the AI to finish it. Okay,
Got it.
seeing the pattern, okay, question answer, question answer, question answer. The After seeing the question, AI will automatically assume that, okay, now I need to answer this, and it will fill in the answer. So that's how we got into the territory of getting the task done from an AI model. Okay, so
Got it.
this is called prompt engineering, right? So those days are gone. This multi-shot days are gone. With GPT-3,
Correct.
it is called one-shot prompting, where you just give the straight away ask the question and it will be able to answer you. This is achieved by a process called fine tuning. There is a process called instruction tuning. Train the model with instruction tuning data set, where it is nothing but question answer, kind of data set. It will have tens of thousands of samples. If this kind of question is asked, this is how you need to answer. Okay, all those samples will be provided to the AI model. AI model learns it, and after instruction tuning, you just ask a single question, it will be able to answer. That's
Got it.
how the chat gpt is built, and that's how the prompt engineering also evolved.
Got it. Got it. I think that's again a very interesting answer about how it evolved over the last few years and how the prompts have changed since ChatGPT came into existence, how they'll continue to change as ChatGPT and other AI models evolve for future. Okay. Uh, Look, this was a very technical answer, and I totally understand this as an answer coming from a tech guy. But let's assume so we do this event. We're trying to do this event in our community called explain this to a 10-year-old. It's like so let's say if you have to break down the prompt, the art of writing effective prompts into very simple steps, what could they be so that we could and I'll be honest with you why I'm asking you this question, okay? Because we want to cut a small part of this overall video into a chunk and post on our YouTube channel, because then a lot of others who are not into tech also might use it for their future for their purpose.
Yes, and this tech is especially made for non-tech people, right?
Correct, correct, correct,
This is actually empowering tech. This particular
correct,
GPT and generative AI is an empowering tech, where one need not be really techie or geeky to use it. We just need to learn a few simple constructs. You will be able to effectively use it. This will
correct.
increase your productivity multifold if we just learn to use it. So in order to write an effective prompt, right, the technique that I use is called RRR. It's not the movie RRR. So I'm just bringing that concept so that you can
Uh,
relate and remember this. So role, rule, and response. These three are the keywords: role, rule, and response.
Response.
So the first R, role, is actually giving the AI a role. Okay, why do we do that? You might have heard that ChatGPT is trained with 1 trillion tokens. 1 trillion tokens means that much amount of data is fed in. Okay, multiple domains: finance, medical, engineering, computer science, programming, civil. All domain data is collected together, and it is put it into the chat GPT. So it is kind of having all that knowledge. Now the first R, the role definition says that once you give a role, let's say let's take an example, right? I want to write a Python program. Okay, I will give a role to the AI saying you are an expert Python developer. Okay, now you need to set this role first. What it then happens is AI will filter and drill down into that knowledge segment. Okay, uh, why that is important is because if you don't set that role right, then it has a broader category of other knowledges which will interfere, right? So we give a very focused role to that AI, set the role, and give it a task. Okay, you are an expert Python developer. Even I go to an extent of saying, okay, you are an expert Python developer in open working in open AI. Okay,
Got it.
answer it as if an open AI engineer would answer.
Got
Okay,
it.
set this context, role play, and then okay, write a program to read a text file, and give me a count of words in that text file. So this is role and the task, the first R. The second R is rule. Okay, the set of rules that need to be the AI need to abide before preparing the response. Okay, I said you write a program. Now in the rules section, I'll tell the AI how the program need to be written. For example, you need to follow clean code practices. You need to write the program using domain driven design, and you need to have proper IO error handling. The program should respect UTF-8 encoding. So all these rules I will set. Okay. Then the third R, which is a response format. A response, how do I expect the output to be? Right. The output need to be a Python program, and I will say that ChatGPT is really chatty, right? It will start explaining each line of code, right? I don't want that as comments. So in the response, I normally say, okay, don't give your gyan on the commentary on the code. I don't want code comments. You just give me the code, right? So these three R's, role, rule, and response. Once you apply this, you will get a much better quality output response from the AI. There are lot many techniques like this exist, but I don't want to dump everything on one single day.
That's true.
You will forget most of them. But this is a most powerful tip that I follow on a daily basis.
No, but I think the way you have acronymed this or heuristically said this, I think people will remember this for long now. RRR, because it's already in their minds, and it's a uh, great framework to think about it. You want to give it a role and not just put it in the sea of tokens it has, and then rulify it, and then probably response go. You want to limit this. There's an interesting question it's from our team, but and I want to take this up right now, Raju. He
Oh,
says, what prompts can I use to keep GPT restricted to factually correct answers? And it sometimes make things up, right?
right, right. So this is called hallucination. Okay, hallucination is a problem that is generally observed in GPT prompts. So you need to understand this hallucination will happen for ambiguous questions, right? If the question is ambiguous, it will tend to gobble everything in its knowledge, and tend to give this. Okay, let's take an example, right? If let's take an example of Indian political leaders themselves, right? If you ask ChatGPT who is Gandhi, right, this question may be obvious to us, right? We Indians know Gandhi, but for ChatGPT it is not, right? Because there are umpty number of Gandhis exist, right? Mahatma Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi. Which Gandhi are you talking about, right? So if you give an ambiguous question like who is Gandhi, you may expect hallucinated answer because the question itself is ambiguous. If you start asking specific question like who is Mahatma Gandhi, right? There is only one Mahatma Gandhi exists in the entire world, right? It is very specific. Okay, and if you want to even drill down and say what really you want to ask, right, that's very specific question. Okay, leave no space for ambiguity. Okay, this is first thing that you can do to get a better less hallucinative answer. The second thing is that we need to understand the base paper which I wanted to discuss. The basic building block of this GPT based models comes from a paper called attention is all you need. Okay, that is called transformer architecture. Okay, that is the building block of all these GPT models. So attention is a mechanism through which the GPT model actually learns the gains the knowledge. You dump with the GPT, corpus of 1 trillion tokens. How does it acquire knowledge? We feed in sentence of text
Got it.
to the AI, right? How does it acquire the knowledge, right? They are all plain simple English words, right? So it actually gains that knowledge by looking at the key words in a given a sentence. You might give a sentence, but the entire sentence, let's say it is made of 20 words, but there are three keywords in that 20 word sentence which forms the whole meaning of that sentence. So AI will give more attention to those three keywords. The paper talks about it. So that's why it becomes really important in prompt engineering that the prompt that you inject need to have relevant attention keywords in the solution space, right? So that the AI will be able to retrieve the right attention and give you the answer. Okay,
Got
there are certain segments where AI doesn't do well. Okay, if you ask, give puzzles, right? For instance, this was floating around social media for some time. Like my sister was aged 3 when I was 6. Now
yeah,
my age is 60. What is my sister's age, right?
yeah,
AI used to answer 30, right? People
yeah.
used to brag about this, right?
Yeah.
So we need to understand. See, that's how AI works. If you give less information and expect AI to answer one shot, it might err and give a hallucinated answer. There, you can add one more just simple instruction, give you a chain of thought, give you a reasoning. Okay, then you will start to see a different
Got it.
answers altogether, right? Or even in that case, in some of the cases it might fail even after asking chain of thought or reasoning, it may fail. So what we can do is that construct few short example. Okay, first you define one such puzzle, okay, and give you a reasoning, and the second puzzle give you a reasoning, and the third puzzle, genuine puzzle, you give it, it will answer correctly. Because this AI is a typically a few shot learner, and we are forcing it to do single shot answers,
Got it.
right? So
Got it.
in the process, it misses few key learnings. But if you teach it, it will be able to answer you correctly.
Got
So
it.
the
Got
keywords here is be specific, use chain of thought or reasoning, use few short examples, then you will get a right answer, less
it. Right answer.
hallucinative answers.
God, I think at the end of the session, the people who are attending the session right now will for sure be able to write better prompts. I can sense this from the way that this session is going. Uh, we have a lot of pre-collected questions, Raju, but I want to take the audience questions in between also, so that they're also engaged and they are also a part of both of us in this. So this is a question from Shubhra, and I think that's a very valid question. Who's an SDET at Full Digital? How does GPT decides, or any, let's say, generative AI model decides, which words are to be considered as a keyword and which ones not in a prompt?
Right. So this comes from the training. Okay. So the weightage comes from the repetition of similar sentences and similar words, right? When you start training from scratch, all words are given the equal importance, right? AI treats them equally. But then we keep on feeding the data more and more and more and more and more data. It tries tends to identify the pattern. Okay, and in that pattern, it identifies that which are all the keywords makes a change in the form of the sentence. It tries to model that pattern. So in that process, it identifies the keywords. Initially,
Got it.
while an untrained model will treat all words or
All as
tokens,
keywords.
as you keep on pumping data, it tries to identify pattern, and it tries to
Got it.
identify those words which actually tweak the sentence,
Got it.
tweaks the formation of the sentence, thereby learning the keywords.
Got it. I think that's a very valid answer. That the model learns itself also. It's just not a one shot like model is created and it's done. It evolves. It learns every day with every prompt and with every question coming into it. Great. Uh, uh, while this was very useful and generic, let's dive a little. Let's go back to tech a little more. Tell us about the LLM model and the transformer architecture, so that people can, of course, if who want to go a little deep into this tech, can also go deep into this tech.
Okay, so LLM models are not a new thing. Okay, LLM models, those who are know machine learning, there is a concept called the MLP, multi-layer perceptron. Okay,
Hmm.
LLMs are an extension of MLP, multi-layer perceptrons. So today is actually a very special day. We are discussing this, which is, I don't know whether it's a coincidence or not. The key paper of transformer architecture was released 6 years back on this same day. The
Uh,
key transformer architecture paper is 6 years old now, and that actually transformed the industry, whole industry. One single paper, it transformed the industry, a industry as a whole. So this paper talks about an add-on to the MLP, multi-layer perceptron architecture, where It builds an inherent capability to the MLP architecture to get something called as self attention. Self attention is the mechanism through which the LLM learns the patterns, the grammatical and semantics of the language, and also by some means it also constructs the knowledge, from the data which is fed in. So transformer architecture comes from the paper called Attention is All You Need. The Google published the paper. Unfortunately, Google was not the one to reap the benefit. It was OpenAI which reaped the benefit. Google struggled. Even now, it is struggling with Bard to compete with OpenAI. But this paper was originally from Google. All the AI advancements that you see on LLM space, it was indeed from Google. And the late the recently Meta released a Llama model, right? That is also GPT-4 grade model. And after making it public and open source, right? Llama also gained a lot of traction, and became a more commonplace thing. So talking about LLM and this thing, right? We forgot about the diffusion models, right? Diffusion models also takes human language as input, but they generate images, right? Mid journey kind of thing. There also prompt engineering plays a key role. I'll touch up as just spend a little bit of time where you'll be able to get better output from mid journey. Mid journey, or even stable diffusion, is that you need to know little bit of photography, right? The nuances of photography, and if you start feeding in that photography nuances in your prompt, then you will get a really different things. A photographer knows the details of composition, details of the scene, what constitutes the scene, what is the background, what is the foreground, what is the lighting, what is the camera lens, right? Who are all the subjects, right? Which subject is on the front, which subject is on the back, how the lighting is settled, which year or era in which this photography is taken, what kind of camera being used, what kind of film technology is being used, right? All these keywords, if you can form, uh, just learn a little bit of photography and start to bring in that concept into the prompt, then you will get a whole different output from here. Hope I
God.
answered the question, that
No,
question.
no,
I know I did.
no, no, Raj. To be honest with you, uh, this is one of the most deep tech sessions about Chat GPT generative AI I've listened to, because we're trying to decode the background of how each of these work. And while we learn from examples of other people, uh, we do workshop, we scratch the surface. But understanding how this whole tech works, I think will surely make this audience write better prompts and make better uses of leverage. So whatever you're speaking right now is golden for us, and I think the audience will resonate with me. And if you resonate with me, just do a virtual clap here, and so that Raju and me, both of us, are motivated for this session, and we take it forward with better questions. Uh, Great. Okay, I want to again do a little go back to again to very fundamental questions. Uh, is Why is learning prompt engineering important? Who can learn it? And is knowledge of NLP or programming important to learn prompt engineering?
So prompt engineering is not limited to tech guys, right? Anybody who is interested to use AI in their their day-to-day job or in their working, they can start learning prompt engineering. So why is prompt engineering becoming important is that if you want to get a precise answer from an AI model, prompt engineering is the only way you can use it. And as I already told you, prompt engineering can shoot your productivity multifold. if you just know
Correct.
how to use AI correctly, because it's a gold mine sitting there out there for you to
Yeah,
use.
that is true.
Literally, literally treat it as your assistant, AI
Yeah.
assistant, right? ChatGPT is one such assistant, and this assistant has a caliber of Albert Einstein. Okay, it's just that it is dumb. Okay, and it will behave as intelligent as you, right? If you know what questions to ask, how to ask, then you got it right. Your productivity will shoot multifold. So uh, prompt engineering is for everyone. There is no second thought about it.
Got it. And is understanding NLP will okay, let me rephrase it in this way. Will understanding of NLP help us write better prompts, or is it like a good to have skill?
I would say it's a good to have. Okay, having core NLP understanding, like what is tokenization, how attentions work, all that helps while we do a deep dive. But it's a nice to have, or good to have.
Yeah,
It's not
got
mandated.
it.
If you are building AI, okay, there is a
Of course.
segregation. Okay, there is a segment which uses AI, there is a segment which builds AI. If you are building AI, NLP is mandatory. If you are using
Mandatory.
AI, it's just nice to have.
Then I think we can start with RRR if you're just using AI to
Yeah,
write
so
better
RRR,
prompts.
I just pinged ChatGPT link in the chat. You can open and see the RRR prompt and the result. I'll also share one without RRR. You can compare the results.
Got
Sorry,
it.
this is kind of a developer focused prompt. So the second prompt that I shared is without RRR. Okay, the
Got
first
it.
prompt that I shared is with RRR. You can see the quality of code generated. The second
Yeah.
one doesn't have any error handling. It doesn't handle encoding properly, and it is chatty in the output. Whereas the other prompt, the first prompt, is a very good code which I can straight away take and use it in my projects. So this is what will make a difference.
Got it. Got it. I think very interesting. And I'm not understanding the code, but I'm just looking at the code from a visual standpoint. Also, the first one looks a lot more effective, and like you said, more error handling cases are covered there. Let's take an
You are
audience
new.
question. No, no.
Yeah.
Let's take an audience question. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, okay. So again, trade-off. Uh, is there any way to minimize the tokens used while also giving accurate prompts, or is it always has to be more verbose while giving prompts?
That's a very good question. I know where the background in which it is coming from. If you are an API developer, right, using OpenAI's API, then you would definitely want to optimize your prompts. Okay, so there is a technique called reverse prompting. Okay, we can use Chat GPT itself to write an optimized prompt. It is called reverse prompting, and you can employ that tech and give this expectation. Again, use the same RRR technique. Give it a role of you are an expert prompt writer, writing optimized prompts, blah blah blah, and then set the rule saying, yes, I'll give a verbose prompt. You need to optimize it to reduce the number of tokens, but still the output
Oh
need to be
my
the same.
goodness.
All these roles you can set, and then you fire it. It will give you
Oh
the
my goodness.
uh,
This is uh, this is such an amazing this is subtle yet such an amazing brain thinking concept. Great. I'll take one more audience question before they feel that something else is happening. This is from Manvendra, who is an SDET at GE Aviation, another senior result at GE Aviation. Are there any specific guidelines or best practices for fine-tuning ChatGPT? If you can understand, or
I haven't. Yeah, yeah, I got the question. So I haven't, personally tried fine tuning ChatGPT because my expertise is on, training core models like training llama models and stuff like that. I'm not an active promoter of OpenAI's API, and I kind of stayed away from using it. The main reason being, most of our clientele is not open enough to send the data to outside world, right? We have There is a kind of a trust barrier exists between the client data and the way data being handled at the other end. There is not much transparency, and the trust is yet to be built because this is a technology which is evolving. So fine tuning, I maybe some of my colleagues may be able to help. Probably I'll get the answers from them and pass it on to you maybe in the next
God,
session.
thank you. That will be helpful. And also, Raju, I will need the post this session. If you can send me the links of the papers which you're talking about, I'll pass it across to our attendees so that if somebody's
Sure.
interested, they can go deep dive into all this.
Sure.
Okay, this is a question in chat. Okay, and I have a similar question. Uh, we're seeing people hiring prompt engineers right now. Okay,
Right.
of course, still scratching the surface, very early days. What kind of a role will prompt engineers have? What kind of a role will it actually look like in future? And what kind of skill somebody needs to become an effective prompt engineer?
Okay, so right now, the lookout for prompt engineers are from the major big tech companies like Google, Meta, OpenAI kind of folks who are actually, cooking AI, right? So the role of prompt engineers here in these companies are basically to, write documentation and actually to test the models, experiment the quality of training and how effectively to write, and also they test the models and kind of rank the models against the standard data sets, right? So for all these kind of things, prompt engineers are being involved. Apart from that, I'm also seeing there are startups started recruiting prompt engineers, or adding skill to the existing skill set of prompt engineering, because they are either consuming AI or building a chatbot, or kind of a supportive conversational interface where the prompt tweaking plays a major role. And whoever wants to generate content, right, in some form, they also employ prompt engineers.
Got it, got it, got it. Okay, I have a next question, Raju, and I think it will interest you a lot considering your interest in tech in general and your love for robotics and gaming in general. Okay, uh, this is a question about from Yashaswini. What is the possible application of combining robotics hardware to OpenAI APIs and ChatGPT, and what are your views on this? I think you will love this question by and large, considering it
So
stems your areas of interest.
yeah, it's good that someone asked this. Thanks for the question. So that would be the natural evolution, right? That so putting this LLMs into robotics is a natural evolution of things. So earlier, robots used to follow a rule based structure, right? And they are programmed basically. They don't think. But LLMs bring in that capability, and it's a natural evolution. Having said that, we need to also discuss the part of responsible tech. Okay, first of
Yeah,
all, it is going to go in that direction of putting this intelligence into machines, is going to take some form. But from the responsible tech front, what are the impact that this is going to have on our existing ecosystem, right? That is something is a debatable topic. Even
correct.
ChatGPT in the current form has lot of flaws, ethical, security, and several aspects. Now, if you are going, one step ahead and deploying it into robotics, then it has, has got a lot of, specific problems. But definitely this will play a major role in government infrastructure, especially in the segment of army, right? The natural defensive systems, that is where these systems will primarily first go on, because that is the best form. If we don't adopt this, the competition will adopt it, and that will become a thread. So there will be a faster adoption happening on the government side of things. But how, general adoption, the general public adoption, how it will happen, we need to wait and watch. If you ask me, from an expertise point of view, I would recommend bringing in stringent regulations, regulatory enforcements on top of this. Just like what we did with blockchain and cryptocurrency, right? There were very strong regulations put on the tech, and we were able to govern the tech, right? So such stringent regulations need to be formed if we are putting this intelligence into machines.
Got it, got it. And I think before we end this, I want to, because this is a topic which has widespread acceptance and there are all kinds of talks happening, okay? And I hope possibly this might be the last question, but I want to end this with a question. This is more philosophical in nature, that will we be replaced? Will as humans be replaced in the tech industry in future? And if yes, to what extent? What is your view on this as someone who has worked so deeply on this and understood so deeply?
I'll be very honest here. Okay, I'll give a
Yeah.
very very honest answer here. Actually, I lost my sleep for 3 continuous days when I saw ChatGPT generating code, because that's my bread and butter, right? And some machine is writing flawless code, and I lost my sleep for 3 days. But from there on, it's been almost 6 months now. I've been did a deep dive. Okay. And this is my reasoning, and my conclusion is that AI is not going to take your job away. Okay. But a person using AI will take your job away. So if you want to survive in your job, make sure that you make use of AI in your day-to-day affairs, make yourself productive, and make ask this question, like, if there are segments of job which are going to be absolute with this technology. That is also a given. From the beginning of the answer, I said I'll be honest here, right?
Yeah.
Any supportive function, right? The telecaller kind of supportive functions, if you are in, those jobs are at stake. Unless there is some kind of AI adoption happens in that space. you know Now AI is not able to only chat in the form of text. They can also speak, right?
Correct.
So all these conversational interfaces will replace uh, the back office support calls, right? These will be automated and taken away by AI. If you are a software developer or a tester, and if you are worried about will AI take my job away, no. This is going to make you productive, and at least for the foreseeable time frame. I'm talking about 3-4 years from now. You are not challenged unless you are not making use of AI. Your job is not at stake. Keep yourself updated with the things like prompt engineering. What is happening in the AI industry, what kind of models are getting released, what capabilities they are coming with, how can I apply that to my area of work or my domain of work. Okay, see this as an empowerment. Let me quote an example. One of my friend and colleague who works in a CAD industry, computer aided designing. He is not a developer, okay, but he does flawless 3D CAD designs. Recently, he connected with me and said he started developing plugins
Hmm.
for the 3D develop platform that he is working, and see the empowerment. Earlier, he was kind of handicapped in that area because he doesn't understand code. Now he says that given he learned I just gave him this RRR, and with
Hmm.
that RRR he is able to write flawless code, just copy paste it into the IDE, automate
Hmm.
his daily repetitive job, and he is able to increase his production multifold. Now he is kind of seen as a Superman in his uh, group of
In org.
things, right?
Org, yeah.
Yeah, so in his arc, so this is how it's an empowering tech, look at that way.
Got it. Got it.
So
And I think that's
I just
well.
put this quadrant, right, like four quadrant. If you are building AI, you are at the safest position. If you are using AI, you are safe. If you are not using AI, then there is lot of concern. If you are not at all aware of AI,
A lot of
God only
concern.
help.
God only
Yes.
help. Got it. Got it. No, that's so true. And I think our take on this is fundamentally that that human mind is irreplaceable while AI train we do, but the analytical mind which a human possesses will stay relevant, and it might today it is relevant to writing code, but tomorrow it might be to writing prompts which can write code for us. So it will stay relevant by large. I think Raju, we can end this here. It's been a late day, and thank you for. And I can't thank you enough for this session. I genuinely believe that we decoded a lot of stuff which is going around all of us, and and I'm really hopeful that I can for sure say for our team who was attended this that they'll be able to write a lot better prompts from now onwards, and I genuinely believe that others might also be able to replicate that. You have decoded prompt engineering for us in a more understandable way, and something which we were trying to find out of this surface which is available to all of us. So thank you so much. Indebted to you for a long time. So thank you, Raju, once again for this session. And I look forward to, and we all look forward to meeting you in Bangalore and for the TribeCon. There's going to be one hell of a session now, and great conversations are waiting for all of us. And thank you all for all of you for tuning in.
Thank you, folks. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the opportunity, Ashu.
No,
Looking
no,
forward to connect with you.
pleasure is all ours. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we'll meet you soon. Thank you.
See you. Thank you, folks. Bye.
Bye.